It was a matter of bringing comfort to people's homes, bringing excitement, helping them build and create memories, lasting memories in the home.
Welcome to the Home Show, where we sit down with builders, designers, and real estate professionals shaping the spaces we call home. I'm your host, Oscar Michaels, founder of hOMe Media. And in each episode, we dive into the stories behind the brands, the strategies behind the success, and the marketing moves that help these local leaders stand out. From concept to completion, from startup to legacy, this is where real conversations happen. Let's get into it. James, welcome to the show, man. Thank you so much for being a guest. I really appreciate it. You are the second guest here for season 1, and couldn't be more excited to talk to someone in this industry that works with the same type of people that I do on a daily basis, and kind of dive into your background and learn about what you're doing and tell people about your business.
Awesome. Super excited to be here. I'm the CEO and the lead designer at Innovative Audio Video Designs in Bensalem. We're a luxury home technology firm. Basically, we work closely with interior designers, architects, builders, and sometimes clients directly to deliver excellent technology that's easy to use, reliable, intuitive, and brings comfort to their homes. That's the big thing. We want everything to be easy to use, and we want everything to look planned, and we try to make everything designed to disappear. We don't want technology to take away from the design. We want it to kind of blend in and be kind of hidden in plain sight. That's one of our big focuses. So we work a lot with lighting, shading, Wi-Fi, TVs, audio, interior, exterior, all kinds of things.
When I first met you, I was so intrigued, innovative audio video design. What did that mean? And so when I first met you, I was like, okay, let me have a meeting with these guys. I don't even remember how we first met, but one of your colleagues, I think, linked it up, and then we got talking. But tell us, what you do in your business on a daily basis, and what that looks like behind the scenes.
Yeah, sure. So on a daily basis, an interior designer may call me and say, hey, listen, we just got a new unit in Philly, and it's just a base model, and the client's looking for something more. I don't really know what they want, but they want something that looks and feels different than every other unit.
Sure.
So we'll go and we'll talk it over with them, and we'll talk about, how do you want the space to feel? How do you want it to look? Are you looking for more modern? Are you looking for more understated? And then we kind of take those designs to our drawing board, and we come up with some core concepts. We try to talk to them about lighting. Are they looking for warm and cozy? Are they looking for more cool and high energy? What matters to you, and what type of aesthetic are you looking for, so we can make sure that we hit the design. Outside of that, then we typically meet with clients and ask them about what their comfort level is with technology. Are they an enthusiast? Are they kind of a little scared of it? Are they kind of open to suggestions? We figure out what they've had previously, what those previous experiences have looked like, what they liked, what they didn't like, and then we kind of use that as a kind of like a North Star to make something that they're going to love. And then we make sure at the end of the project, after we deliver everything, that everybody is thrilled with the end result. If there's something that went, not according to plan, we figure out what went wrong and how we can avoid those, how we can make it right in the immediate moment. And then what can we be doing differently next time to kind of avoid that.
I think lighting is such a last thought for some people, which it shouldn't be.
Right.
And being a photographer and video, lighting is everything, right?
Yeah.
It sets the mood, it sets the vibe. It really sets a space apart from just your typical dining room or living room or movie theater, whatever. And when I first started, working with you and doing a couple of jobs with you, I saw how much work went into that. I thought it was just so impressive, how it all came together.
Mm-hmm.
I could see the raw space, right? I saw a couple of raw spaces that you guys were just, starting to outfit and run wires and do all that. And it was I think you were running miles of cables through this house that we were in. And it was so impressive. Talk about how lighting is, important of placement, color, tones, temperatures for that vibe that someone's looking for. And also working with the designer, how that collaboration goes, because they have a lot of input, but knowing the lighting, they're like, oh yeah, I love this piece, but maybe it doesn't work there. And that could be the case a lot of the times, I'm sure.
A lot of people, we find, designers especially, they tend to be very visual creatures. One of the things that we like to do is we like to create mock-ups, and we'll bring lighting to a site and we'll set something up. We literally just did this in Chestnut Hill, where somebody was asking for color changing light fixtures for their outside so they could light up a column. They wanted it to be Eagles green during the season and Phillies red during October, so on and so forth. So we weren't sure if they were going to like the light to be an uplight or positioned above the columns, washing down, and we mocked up both. And we let them live with it for a little while, and then they got back to us and said, actually, I really like the uplight. Let's move and put those fixtures closer to the ground and then wash up. We loved how that looked. It looked better. We don't want to just rely on words and written things and just general conversations. We want to show people what that's going to look like. We have some renderings that we can use. There's some interactive design guides that I love from a few different lighting partners. But really, on-site mock-ups are huge for us. Outside of that, like you said, positioning, we try to partner with brands and manufacturers that give us a little bit of play. A lot of our partners are typically using, they tend to be canless, just what the industry calls wafer lights, where they're about the same thickness as the drywall.
Sure.
So they just kind of sit at the surface. But really what they're doing is they're throwing light everywhere. It's just a general ambient light, and there's not really much rhyme or reason to it. It just kind of goes where it goes. So we try to use a traditional canned light. We try to get when we're talking about downlights, we try to get the light source higher up into the ceiling and adjustable. After the fact, we can do different beam spread options. We can do different lenses. We can do all kinds of different things from below the surface to change things.
It's going to get so complex and like dialed in.
Correct. So without getting too over the top, we try to focus on brands and partners that give us a lot of flexibility. Outside of that, we are trying very hard to go more towards indirect lighting that's more soft and subtle, rather than aggressive direct lighting. We kind of like that warm, subtle glow effect that highlights architecture and really makes designs pop. But you're 100% right. Only a fraction of the projects that we work on has a true accredited lighting designer, which is kind of mind-boggling to me.
Especially at these price points. Like
these price points.
$20 million home or $10 million home, you're like, wouldn't that be the first thought is like, because when I come home, first thing I do is I have lights on my phone and stuff like I click them on, and that's the mood I want to feel when I walk in the door. Yes. So wouldn't you think with a crazy luxury home, they would think of that?
You would think, but a lot has changed over the last 30 years, and a lot of people are they're used to doing things a certain way, and change can be scary, especially when change can involve systems that aren't necessarily intuitive. Maybe they worked with a different technology partner in the past who
bad experience.
They got a little skittish, and I can't blame them. There's a lot of those that are out there where people got too heavy into control and leaned too heavy into one system, and then something went bad and everything had to get ripped out, and it's tens to hundreds of thousands of dollars to fix. There are some nasty horror stories out there. So that's why we try to partner with brands that are agnostic. They don't have that capability of going sideways like that.
Makes sense. Before we get too deep into like what you actually do, tell us a little bit about your background specifically. I want to know more about this. I know we've talked a bunch and sat down and had lunch a ton, but I don't know too much about your background other than innovative. Tell me where you started and how you got into this field.
Back in the day, I like a lot of people in my industry, I started at Best Buy. That's kind of the training grounds. It's a great place to land when you're starting to get interested in technology.
Sure.
Right out of high school, I was at Circuit City, and then I went from there to Best Buy, and kind of grew up there.
I just saw a nostalgic post about Circuit City the other day on Instagram, and I was like, man, childhood.
You're right. Seriously.
Can't believe there's none open.
I know. It's a shame. Once I landed at Best Buy, they opened up this new higher end home theater division, and that's where I kind of started realizing that this was something I was really into. I worked there for a long time. I started moving my way up from part-time to full to supervisor. Eventually was a sales manager. Then I got a little bit stagnant and felt like maybe there's something more outside of retail. And so I jumped to at the time, one of the leaders in custom home integration. They were called Hi-Fi House. Okay. They're no longer in business. This was a little bit more than a decade ago.
Okay.
So I was there for a little while. I met a bunch of people. After Hi-Fi House closed, I landed with one of my coworkers, one of the greatest industry friends and mentors, EJ Fulner. He's been spectacular to me. Wonderful person. Worked with him for the better part of a decade at a ultra luxury, super, super high-end space called AHT Global. And that they kind of showed me the ropes on what to do with a luxury project, how to behave, how to work with interior designers, what to look for, how to write submittals, how to be detail-oriented. They taught me all of these things. Details matter. They matter so much in these ultra luxury projects. The stakes are so high, and a simple missed email or a miscommunication can cost somebody thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, depending on what finish it may disrupt. Sometimes there's people that are flying in stone from Europe, it could be $100,000 stone slab. And if something goes wrong there because of poor planning or poor communication, you really just can't afford that. So they showed me the ropes. They showed me how to kind of do things. And then I met Brian Beckwith, the owner of Innovative, there. He was a technician. He's spectacular. He's one of the best people in the world to work with and for. He worked with me for maybe 6 months or so. And then he decided that after a while, he wanted to start his own thing. So I guess that was maybe 6 or 7 years ago, he started Innovative. And then he grew the business to the point where he started getting into more projects that I'm used to. And he called me up and we started talking, and I had my daughter was on the way and he didn't know it at the time, but it wasn't exactly the right time to jump. Would have been super risky with health insurance and everything. So I waited, and then my little one arrived and changed my life. And then after a little while, I realized that I owed it to her to trust myself to make that jump and to kind of bet on myself and bet on Brian. And here we are almost 3 years later. Things are great. But yeah, it all started at Best Buy, and it was just a matter of, hey, I kind of like TVs. I kind of like speakers, and that I used to sell portable DVD players and the cases and the service plans and the headphones and all that stuff. And that's how I kind of, post high school, that's what I was doing. And then here I am now working on these crazy projects.
What a crazy roadmap from Best Buy, like Geek Squad to home theater. And then that was, what was the drive behind the passion when you got into the home theater stuff? And like, what did you love about it? Like,
I think the experience really, at the time it was pressing the demo and watching, the little Bose surround sound demos.
I still get excited about that.
Yeah. That was the best. And then the feeling of watching a customer light up when they got really excited about, I got this new, at the time, 60-inch flat screen TV or whatever. And back then it was a rear projection TV. I'm dating myself a little bit, but
I wasn't born yet. No, I'm kidding.
Right. Yeah. It was that experience. It was a matter of bringing comfort to people's homes, bringing excitement, helping them build and create memories, lasting memories in the home. At the time, the Eagles were at the beginning of a great run there and gearing up for the McNabb era and everything. So bringing that stadium feel home, that was a big part of it. And now here we are 20 years later in an even better era. So it's, and I'm still doing it. So it's pretty cool.
Dude, that's amazing. I hope we have a run this year.
I think we might. We'll see.
We have a chance.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
If they can get on the same level of communication, which we were just talking about,
right?
I think we'll be all right.
Yeah, I think some health is a big factor too. But
true,
we'll see.
We won't get too much into sports, but I'd love to hear some like defining milestone markers of like projects since you've been with Innovative. Like, where was like, man, we're really doing this. Like, this is something special.
I think one of the first ones was a project at a building down in Philly. A client was working with an interior designer, and during the project decided to part ways with that designer and move to a new one. And that designer called me and was like, I need some help. They have a specific vision. They want to upgrade all of these different lighting fixtures, and I don't know where to go. I don't know who to turn to. I don't know who to trust. There have been all these issues with the building, with some tradespeople. So what can we do? Can you help me? I said, yeah, I've got you. So I basically acted as a project manager for a electrical contracting team. We oversaw all the electrical fixture installations. We oversaw patch and paint work. We redesigned walls for them. We did all kinds of things.
This is your first project?
First project.
So you're just diving right into it.
Head first. Like, we did a massive lighting project for a closet lighting, a wine fridge lighting after the fact too. So, I mean, the place is finished. We're talking about crazy inventive retrofit solutions. And then I was like, okay, no, really, we are Innovative audio video, because this stuff is very outside of the box. It's very design centric, where we're giving people technology that they want without impacting the overall design. And then after that project, it's been spectacular. It's it's featured in the project spotlight for the interior design firm. I've done 3 or 4 more projects with that same firm.
Wow.
They're one of our closest partners, and they're spectacular people to work with, excellent vision. And they still call me and they're like, hey, I've got a problem. Can you help me?
And that's something else you guys offer here as well too, right? Like some behind, like after the job's finished, is like maintenance and helping them fix stuff.
We do. So to some degree. So in some instances, we offer a 24/7 remote support for more like home lifestyle technology,
Okay.
Wi-Fi systems, TV systems that may or may not be dropping offline. Sometimes there's issues with the cleanliness of power and voltage is dropping. We can do power checks to figure out, hey, is this constantly tripping because of the service that's coming in from the street? What can we be doing to make things more stable? We have a lot of ways that we can get super nitty gritty and technical, but also if a client just moves into a new house and they're like, all of these lights were installed in 1990 and I would love to modernize things, we can do that. We can bring things without really involving much renovation work. We can take existing 6-inch lights and bring them all the way down to 2-inch while maintaining the same light output. There's a lot that we can do with lighting, and we can do with interior designers. We do all kinds of technical things too, like dimming compatibility checks and making sure that systems will communicate properly and that it's just a super easy, reliable experience.
That's amazing. Fantastic. I encourage all the listeners. I know people are going to be traveling for the holidays and stuff and like going to extended families to really take a look around at the lighting design and like see what they notice from, a consumer standpoint.
Right.
But when I walk into these homes, yes, we see it every day because we're walking into these homes, but it's just that immediate feel like when you walk into a home that was redesigned and really thought through from start to finish. And I just think that's so cool. So getting into like the technology side of things, I know you do a lot more than just lighting. Talk about some of the technology trends that you're seeing. I know on some projects we worked with like AI in some of the space. So if you could just touch on some of that, I think it'd be really cool for people to.
There's a couple of big trends. Screens themselves, we're starting to see clients are looking for experiences that they can create in homes. Movie theaters are closing. One of my favorites right down the street here in Doylestown went out recently, and I don't know what it's going to be, but the barn is no longer there. So
potential job for you, maybe.
And maybe.
I hear apartments are going in there.
Nice.
Hopefully high end.
Yeah, right. We'll see. So they're looking for experiences that they can create at home, whether that's a giant video wall that can do multiple different sources where, they could be watching the Eagles game and then their son can be playing a video game next to it, or they could just do the full Sunday ticket experience with 6 different sources. That's a big thing for media rooms. Those same technologies are available outside too. And so giant TVs are really starting to come down. The giant TV itself, just a regular LED, they're starting to come down in price point by leaps and bounds. They used to be like $200,000 for a 100+ inch. You can get a 115-inch, I think, for I want to say it's like $30,000 now. It's crazy. It's just ridiculous how much the costs have dropped. And then 100-inch, I think you can get a 100-inch for like $6,000 now.
Also, I've seen like a lot of I don't know what the technical terms are, but where TVs are like paired together, tile TVs. Yeah. That's so cool. Like
those are spectacular. Those are true video walls. Direct view LED or DV LED. They are spectacular. Performance levels are incredible. That is literally the best of the best. And those can come pretty much whatever format, whatever aspect ratio you'd like, and you can get an awesome experience. That's really what I'm talking about when I'm saying the experience at home and a true media room where you can get a sporting event or you can do spectacular movie night and you don't miss a beat on either format or either media. That's awesome. AI, voice recognition is big. And, there's always Amazon, there's Alexa, but these days, data privacy matters. It's a huge thing to people.
Sure.
So there's a partner that we work with called Josh AI that they use a closed microphone system. So while the microphone is listening, it's their core philosophy is to never sell data. They don't work with a lot of other technology partners who kind of thrive on selling data. It is the best of Amazon without any of the data, the data privacy concerns.
This is the one that I saw.
This is the one that you saw.
That was just fantastic.
Yeah, it's awesome. You can say things like, "Hey Josh, go birds," and it can do a number of things for you. The client or the user can create all kinds of scenes on the fly from the app. It's the most intuitive app on the market. Super, super fast and responsive. We love that. We have a few more projects with them coming up, some in the local area, and really excited about some of the new stuff that they've come up with too. The way that they're integrating surveillance and the way that they're integrating access control to make a really cohesive ecosystem has been very exciting. Outside of that, lighting has been, the cost of spectacular lighting is plummeting now. You're starting to see tunable light where we can go from something that's really cool to something that's really warm easily. Those price points are really starting to drop. We're also seeing that control, a lot of clients are, they're cutting the cord. That's not really new. That's been around for a while. But a lot of clients at one point were still kind of holding on to their Comcast remote. They loved that voice that came with the Comcast remote. It was like the greatest remote in the world. Everybody just loved.
My dad still loves.
Yeah, and my wife, we still have it in our house too. We're starting to see people finally getting away from that, and they still want that voice control. So there's some other solutions from other brands that we have, whether it's Josh or some other people, some other partners that have that excellent ways of controlling TVs. You can get your Netflix, you can get your Amazon, you can do voice control, and you can control lights, shades, TVs, all from one remote very intuitively and very reliably.
That's crazy. Yeah, I feel like the trends, not even the trends, just like the technology trends, I guess you would say, from like when I was, early 2000s, a kid, and like how much it's changed. It's like it's happening right in front of me, but you don't notice it until you think like, man, Circuit City used to be a business. I guess I got that there.
I was thinking about it on my way over here. So I was thinking about how when I first started in the industry, the big thing was the universal remote. And everybody had this big surround sound system. They had their CD player and they had their DVD player, and then it was a Blu-ray player. And then they had 7 different remotes on the countertop. And then we were saying, oh, well, instead of 7, you can have 1. Great. Now I've got 1. And then it was, well, why do I need that? I can use an app. And then 1 app became 7. And then it was, well, why do I want this big bloated TV contract from Comcast or DirecTV or anybody? I'll just do streaming. And now it's like 57 different streaming apps. You need, it's crazy. So it's this weird cycle of constantly the devices, the number of devices we have to interact with, or whether it's a device, an app, it's always kind of flowing. And it's, everybody needs a more simple way of using the stuff that they need to use. It's just so right now we're starting to see things kind of be consolidated. I think consolidation and intuitiveness, that's probably the biggest focus right now.
Yeah, I think a lot of like contracts and money contracts are the reason that we're seeing like all these apps like Paramount and Netflix. They're buying all these rights, and it is nuts.
It's crazy. That drives me insane, especially you're trying to watch sports. And it's like I'm on the road. Oh well, I have Comcast in my house, but I'm in a blackout area, so now like it. It drives you nuts.
It is the worst, especially when you're trying to watch sports. That'll drive anyone nuts. Talk about how innovative is, different, and like who, I don't want to say competitors, but like who's in the market with you, so people can have an idea like what space, you're working with, so that way when they have the opportunity or, are looking into these technologies, they have an idea of like who's out there, who do I call, like, and what services do they do for me?
Absolutely. So a couple of key differences between us. There are some really well-known people in the industry. They do great work. Worldwide Stereo has been around for ages. They're a titan in the industry. They're great. We are very different in that we don't have a giant showroom. We're a much smaller company. We have 10 people. I'm the lead designer. I'm the CEO. My hands are on practically every single design that goes out the door. I'm project managing. I'm doing sales. I'm doing training. I'm doing pretty much everything. My hands are all over it. And on top of that, outside of the showroom experience, a lot of it is our willingness and almost need to do on-site mock-ups of these core concepts. So we want to bring things out the site. We want to bring invisible speakers to your house. We want to bring the outdoor audio. We want to bring, since we don't have a showroom, we have all of these portable demo kits and mock-up units. And we want to make everybody feel comfortable about what they're saying yes to. Outside of that, we also do alarm services. So not every integrator in this market does. So we can do burglar alarm. We can do those types of things. So we felt that most of our clients don't like having to pick up the phone and call a separate home technology guy just to handle their alarm contract. We can handle it end to end.
All in one place.
All in one end. Yeah, all in one place. So we also work very closely with different, like I mentioned with the interior designer story earlier with that massive lighting project. If you need something, we have resources where if it's an electrician, if it's a patch and paint guy, if it's wallpaper, I mean, whatever you need, if it's involved in our project, we can help oversee that the project goes smoothly. So we have a bunch of different resources, and I'm not saying that our guy would pick up a drywall trowel and start patching and painting, but we have a team that we work very closely with that.
Yeah, you guys have a large network of referrals and partners, and I think that's definitely sets a company apart from other companies that can just be like, oh, you need someone for that? I got someone that we've worked with 100 times before. They're great.
And the projects that I worked with them on were from my previous company. I mean, we're talking multi-million-dollar, just the technology side of things, $1 million plus jobs. So I've been working with them for about a decade now, and they're great. We really are a resource. We want to make everybody's lives easier on the project, and we we move mountains for our trade partners as well as our clients.
Yeah, one kudos to you. I remember showing up to a project. I was working with your colleague, and we were going through doing a walkthrough for the shoot, and here you come around the backside of the house, like dirt all over your jeans, and the trowel in hand. And I was like, "What are you doing, man?" And I'm thinking in my head, like, this guy's the president of the company. He's covered in dirt at this project. And he's like, I was, digging the wires because we got to get this done.
Right.
And I was just like, damn, like he's putting his life on the line to make sure this client gets what they want in the time frame that they want it.
Hey, deadlines matter.
And that deadline sounded so unrealistic. It was what I saw. And somehow you made it happen, and it was gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous.
Thank you. Yeah, that was a wild time.
Got to do what it takes, right?
Hey, we got to do what it takes. It's funny. I have a quick story about my dad. Before I graduated high school, I used to live in South Jersey. My dad was building this giant shop in the back of our yard. He was big into like woodworking and all kinds of things. He was doing a renovation in our house. And he wanted to build a big workshop, which meant that he needed to get electrical outside to this big workshop. And I wasn't doing, truth be told, I wasn't doing the best in school at the time. I was kind of slacking off and probably playing video games or running around doing whatever I was doing at the time.
You worked at Best Buy, so that all adds up.
So he, as punishment, he made me dig a trench from my house. It was like, we lived on over an acre of land, from my house all the way back to the shed, 18 inches deep, 6 inches wide. I'll still remember it. He didn't give me the right tools. It was the middle of summer. And he's like, hey, I need you to do this. And I need it done by, I think he gave me a full day. I got it done. And then at the end of the day, he laid the conduit. He got the electrician out there to do everything to permit. And he said, hey, listen, if you want your life to be different than what you just did, you got to get your head on straight. Like you got to, take care of yourself in school. You got to have your priorities set. And then, fast forward 20 plus years, I'm still doing trenches even after the fact. It's just funny.
Comes full circle.
It comes full circle. But,
but you learn from that.
I did.
What it takes to make things happen.
Yeah.
And that's the moral of the story.
Correct. Right? Yeah. It's funny how it worked out. But yeah, the work ethic and everything that he instilled in me is still, it's a mainstay in the way that we run the company.
It's amazing. And I think the way you think is what's so intriguing. Like when I first talked to you, I was like, man, this guy's different. And by different, I mean like intelligent in areas that I've never even known were a thing in terms of lighting and design. And I was just so intrigued to learn more and work with you in that factor. So going into, what innovative is, like what do you see now and then coming up in the future that's like gonna grow the company, and like where do you see yourself in 10 years with innovative?
We're really focusing on fortifying existing relationships. We've had the pleasure of working with a bunch of different interior designers and builders in the local market and beyond the local market. Fortifying those relationships is one of our biggest focuses. Reaching back out to them, understanding what went really well in the last project, and what we can do to make the next one even better, and show that we're a resource. Outside of that, meeting new people is a big thing. Breaking more into the architect world is really big for us. We want to be involved more in the schematic design phase of projects so we can do things like assist with fixture placement and making sure that devices that need to go, if somebody's planning to do a projection screen that drops down from the ceiling, that plumbing isn't in that joist bay. Those types of things matter. Power planning, all of these different super technical things that we can assist with. If we're brought in early enough, that's a major thing that we are starting to make progress on.
I feel like that's the hardest part about your industry, is like getting in at the right time to make sure things run as smoothly as they can.
And listen, if I were outside of my industry, there's no shot I would think like, why does my TV guy need to be involved 18 months before he starts pulling wires? Well, it's because we're not just TV guys anymore. Like we're doing Wi-Fi, we're doing shades. How do you want your shade to finish? Do you want it to be up in the ceiling? Well, if you do, we need to talk about structure above the ceiling and where these shades are going to finish. All of these little tiny details, they all matter. And the sooner we're involved, the better. It's wild how many things we get involved in these days.
I think that's what makes you unique too. Like for example, Worldwide Stereo, like they have their showroom and people can go in and try things out. But like you guys really get hands-on on the project, where I'm not sure how hands-on they get. Like you're more of a boutique luxury firm that does this to meet clients' expectations that are so much more involved than your typical just like TV guys.
So yes, and that's the side of the business that I have been really heavily focused on. But there's also the other side of the business where we can do very basic systems.
Of course.
And we just do them on an elevated level where the wiring is all neatly labeled and we have online databases for storage and the client can get 24/7 support. They don't have to work with, a one-man company who may or may not answer the phone that day.
Yeah, it's like they have limitations where you guys have like a plethora menu of where you can add on things to make it that luxury feeling. Or if someone wants to pay that and they can pay that, they will pay that.
So we can work with a builder who wants to do just a basic alarm system.
Sure.
We can do that. Well, we can also do an ultra luxury design build spec for, a $20 million house. We can do that too. We can navigate both fields. I think the other side of the business, the builder market where we're doing base builder packages, that's sort of in its infancy. We're starting to break into that market. And I think that'll probably take off a little bit more within the next, I would guess 12 to 18 months.
When you say like the builder industry, is this more residential, like like single family homes, or talking like custom built homes, or
both? So semi-custom is typically where we're more likely to be involved in.
Okay.
Semi-custom where it's, 4 different models and then you can kind of tweak them however you'd like. Outside of that, we're starting to dip our toe in the luxury townhome market. There are a lot of those in the area as well. Basic infrastructure packages of wiring and then, video doorbells and alarm offerings, those types of things. So that's coming too. And on my side of things, it's making sure that we're staffed up appropriately to support this because,
that's huge.
With a new builder partner, you don't know if they're going to give you ample lead time. They might call you and say, hey, I need 58 homes wired in 3 days. Can you be here tomorrow? That happens. So we have to staff up appropriately to make sure we can support it.
So with your like leadership style, which I'm intrigued by, I think it's impressive how you run operations there. What do you see evolving around that, like in growing the team, growing the brand? Like what is the vision? What is the vision there?
It's a great question.
Because you have so many roles. So in my head, I'm like, how is James handling all this? Like he's obviously doing more behind the scenes that we don't see,
Yeah.
So where do you see yourself within the company, and what is that what is your role gonna evolve into?
I think there's a new employee that's working with us. His name's Calvin. He started.
That's who I met on the call, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Calvin.
Cool.
Calvin's great. Local kid, lives in South Philly. He's working underneath me, and we work together on practically every design. The goal would be that I could focus more specifically on the luxury side, the custom things that I'm used to, and that I really feel like I thrive in.
Sure.
And I could offer an opportunity for someone else to kind of take on these builder projects where they can handle a community. They can handle kind of the semi-custom builder packages, the base packages, those types of things.
Those are more like laid out, whereas there's not so many nuances and custom things.
Correct. Whereas something where a client says, oh, I've got a 20,000 square foot house. I don't know where to begin. I have some experience. I can help you with that. But somebody who doesn't have that experience, they haven't been operating in those types of environments, that I feel like their head might spin a little bit. I think that's going to be a natural progression. Outside of that, I think I'm hoping that we can step away from me handling social media and those types of things.
That might be able to help.
Yeah, I might know a guy. So that's a big one too. Certainly have my hands in too many things at the moment, but from a leadership style, like we talked about, at the end of the day, everybody has a deadline and things need to get done. And I'm not going to ask my team to do something that I'm unwilling to do. And if somebody has to work extra, it's going to be me. I'm not going to make somebody else who's less experienced or less invested in the company do something that I'm unwilling to do personally. Whether that means I'm trenching or whether that means that I'm helping deliver parts or doing a cleanup run or, I'm doing an ultra luxury lighting design at crazy hours. It is what it is. Whatever needs to get done will get done. And, I'm just here to help make sure that it does get done.
That's awesome, man. Where can people follow the journey of the company? Like, do you do special events? Do you do lunch and learns? Are you more active on social media at the time being? Are you trying to be more active? Like,
yeah.
What are you doing for that?
Great question. So LinkedIn, from a social media perspective, LinkedIn is probably the most consistent. I feel like it matches my voice really well. I can be more detail oriented.
That's where I learn from you. Like I'm on LinkedIn all the time. I love to just learn on there. It's so educational. And it's not just, wish-washy Facebook posts, right?
Right.
And I think we've talked about this before. Like your voice definitely is educational when you're talking about products and stuff. Right. And that I've learned from that just before I even come out to your projects. I'm like, oh, so this is what Josh AI is or whatever.
So I love to be able to it's a strange balancing act because I don't want to show everybody how the sausage is made, so to speak. Like there are some trade secrets that I want to keep. But I also want to be a voice for, hey, this is why we do things a certain way. This is the why behind everything. This is what we truly believe in, and this is why we're doing it. This is how we do it. The how is a little sketchy sometimes. I don't like to dive into that, but outside of
some secrets,
you got to keep some. Yeah,
for sure.
Right. So outside of LinkedIn, we're on Instagram. I do a lot of stories there. Instagram, innovativeavd.com is our traditional website, but at innovativeavd is our Instagram handle. You'll get stories there, you get reels there. Outside of that, like you mentioned, CEUs, we're going to be doing more networking events. I'm looking to start hosting mixers every quarter or so. Mixers, we've got a upcoming event for kind of like the young up and coming stars in the industry. We'll be hosting something probably late spring, early summer. We're going to be doing like a really nice dinner.
That's cool.
So yeah, some cool events coming up.
Specifically on the tech side or designers and everyone's?
Builder side. So builder, interior design, just general trade partners, not necessarily home technology partners, but interior designers that maybe we haven't worked with yet, but we would love to.
Sure.
They might get an invite, that kind of thing.
Awesome. I think that's such a powerful way of networking, just to, learn people's businesses, what they're doing and how they got there, and two, creating those power partners.
Right.
There's so many people out there that don't understand a business like yourself. It's very niche and it's very specific.
Yeah.
And you're very different from like Worldwide Stereo or your Best Buy Geek Squad or what. Like, you do certain things that people just can't even touch, in my opinion.
Right.
And I learned that just from talking to you and being with you. So like these networking events, like the ones at Village Handcrafted Cabinetry, Joe will have on for an episode I'm excited about. It's just like all those people, and there's just power partners that you don't even know yet until you go to these events. So I'm excited to hear that you're doing some of that stuff.
I'll keep you posted. I'd love to have you there.
Cool.
It's exciting.
It is exciting.
So yeah, we'll talk. I know that you and Andrew Mann do those pretty frequently throughout the Oils Town. So I'll talk to you offline about it.
He's a powerhouse marketer, that guy. He doesn't even know it, but he's great at it. Before we close up some statements, I wanted to talk about like the workflow of like when you start to finish of working with a client. Just give me a brief overview of like how that works, because I feel like listeners that are thinking about working with projects or they're already talking to a designer or architect, where do you fit in and like how does that work? And I don't need a crazy, long-winded how it start to finish, like, oh, first we do all this and all the, but how, like, what should they expect when they work with you?
Yeah. So one of the first things we like to do is we like to set expectations. So we'll do a digital call. And we'll talk about, hey, what specifically are you looking for from a project? Do you have plans? Do you have elevations? Those types of things. Let's get a visual of it. And then from there, typically I take a few days to kind of think about it, let it marinate. And then I'll come up with rough budget estimation.
Okay.
I'll follow up with the client and say, hey, listen, this is what we're thinking. On the low end of things, it might be X. On the high end of things, if you're looking for more of an experience in these areas, it might be Y. Be happy to go into these numbers and how we got here. But that's this is the general range that we think that would make sense for your project. If you were good with that, we can move forward and we can kind of start doing heavier design conversations. From there, we need to understand timelines. We need to understand what type of visual aids they need. Are we doing mock-ups? Are we doing site demos? Are we doing project kickoffs, all these different things.
And this part's more like hands-on involved with the builders and the architects at this point.
Sometimes it's involved with the client. It depends on the project phase. If it's a finished house and it's retrofit, we tend to be much more involved on the client side.
Sure.
But if it's early in the project, it's much more involved with the designers, the builders, the GCs, those types of things.
Okay.
But yeah, really it's a matter of just kind of understanding budget, making sure that we can commit to meeting their budget, and then putting together a presentation so they understand what they're saying yes to. And then we kind of follow through with different QC checklists throughout the way, making sure everybody's in the loop throughout every phase of the project. And then at the end of it, it's, hey, this is what we promised you. Did we do X, Y, Z? Are you satisfied? Yes. Awesome. Here's our number for 24/7 support. If you need me, here's my contact info as well. But if anything goes up with your system, something locks up, here's the number. You can call, text, email them, and we'll get you back up and running.
And you give them like a full walkthrough of all the products too. Of course, I've seen.
Yeah, we do a full tutorial. We walk.
Some of these shades are confusing, man. Like I'm walking in there and I'm like looking at light switches. Sometimes I have projects by myself and I'm trying to photograph before the clients move in or whatever. And there's iPads on the wall.
Yeah, right.
Like, Jesus.
Yeah.
Josh AIs. And I'm like, Josh,
yeah,
I need help.
Yeah, Josh, I need an adult. Right. So it's we absolutely we need to do tutorials. We need to make sure that they're that they're comfortable. It's all a matter of delivering comfort. And nobody's going to be comfortable in their house if they don't know how to turn the lights on or close the shades. So
Clapper.
So yeah, we do those as well. Then we make sure that they have the documentation to kind of back them up in case they forget. But ultimately, we try very hard to design a project and keep the clients involved in every step of the project, where at the end there really aren't a ton of questions, and that they don't feel like they need to take a college prep class in order to choose their house.
Cool. I think that's a great overview of like understanding like what you guys do and how you do it. So just closing statements. Who would you like to, start meeting more locally or beyond? And, how can we help make those connections in the community for you? And like, who's your go-to client? Is it more the homeowner, or is it more directly with the designers and builders? Who do you want to talk to?
A mixture. So if we love working direct with clients, especially in retrofit situations where, they have a space and maybe it needs an update. They bought a house and the last system was installed in 2005.
Sure.
And they're, looking to bring it to the, to the current trends of technology. We'd love to work with them.
Sure.
Outside of that, we do some of our best work with interior designers. We try very hard to honor their vision, and we do excellent work together. We really like working with them because of their rendering skills and how visual they are. We really feel like we speak the same language, and we help each other out along the way.
Yeah, it's so important. Some of these homeowners have like, I want a light over there. And it's like, well, I don't know.
Right. And then, builders. We work with a few in the local area, always looking for more. We feel like we can help. We feel like we're a resource. We're a local resource. And whether it's a builder, whether it's an interior designer, whether it's an architect, we feel like we can provide an elevated service to any of them.
Absolutely. Well, in closing, I just want to thank you for being here. I encourage viewers to, explore your services. I think it's missed on a lot of projects, which I hate to see just from, my background with lighting and stuff. I think it's so important. It really sets a vibe and a mood at home. Like if you want date night, you can just, Josh, it's date night. Right. We'll dim the lights for it. Like that's so cool.
Right.
And it's something that people probably don't even know exists yet beyond Alexa. Mm-hmm. And I think data privacy with some of these clients that are high end is so important.
It really is.
So before you call Geek Squad or Best Buy or, any of those other just, standard outfitters, definitely give James a call at Innovative and his team. They did some projects at our house around the patio with some patio speakers, the Sonance, which is freaking amazing. Yep. We use it year round, watching football games or baseball games, or just we have people on the patio, go over, turn on music, and it's amazing. So definitely check out James' work, and I encourage you to follow them on social media. Check in with James on LinkedIn if you're interested in working with him. Just reach out to him. He's a great guy, as you can see here from this episode. And wishing you a happy holiday. I know when this episode goes out, it might be just after the holiday, but hopefully you have safe travels and a good time with your family. And thanks again for being on, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for tuning in to the hOMe Show. I hope you enjoyed the conversation and found something you can take with you. If you like this episode, be sure to follow us and subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. And if you're a local leader in the real estate, design, or construction industry and want to share your story, visit om-media.com to apply to be a guest. Until next time, remember, you can't go home without OM.